Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Creative Cast. I am your host, Tammy Munson, and I am so excited to be back with you. The hiatus was awesome and absolutely what I needed, but I miss talking with you guys. It was a little longer than I thought it was going to be, but it's all good, and I'm back. And I'm ready with a full season of amazing content and updates and guests and all kinds of things for you. But first, I wanted to just say thank you for all the notes of support and love and prayers for healing. Community is so essential, and especially when you're battling a chronic illness. Now, as many of you know, I am suffering from long COVID. It's actually, the actual diagnosis is post-COVID dysautonomia. So I was diagnosed in November 2021, had COVID in June of 2020, and thanks to the amazing team at the University of Iowa, the cardiology team, they have been amazing helping me figure out what meds need to be on, what other kind of treatments, what kind of supplements. And another big shout out goes to my good friend, Dr. Christine Schaffner at Eminence Health for her guidance on some of the supplements that I am taking, the infusions, the lifestyle changes, and just overall for her support. See, in January, I realized I was not doing well at all. My heart rate was bonkers. I had tachycardia, brain fog, and the fatigue was just absolutely horrible. And I realized that I needed rest. I needed rest to reduce my stress, to focus on my health. Y'all know I don't sugarcoat much, but I was hanging on by a thread, and God was out there with the 2x4 going, okay, Tam, you need to listen. So I did. You know the thing about entrepreneurs, and especially women, we tend to ignore the signs around us. And that's exactly what I did. I wasn't listening or being obedient in what God was telling me to do. Finally, I realized it was time for me to listen before I ended up in the hospital. And I'm happy to say that I'm doing much, much better. We've got new meds on board, new protocols. I've made sure to put boundaries on certain things and say no to things, even though I want to say yes. I might be an Enneagram 8, but I've got a strong Enneagram 7 side. Now, I just want to say, if you are someone that is living with chronic illness of any kind, but especially long COVID, please know that y'all are in my daily prayers. We were created by God to live with a healthy rhythm of life, to enjoy the Sabbath. I mean, even God himself, the God of the universe, he took a rest upon creating the world, right? And if it's good enough for him, it should be good enough for all of us, right? But far too many of us live without margin in every area of our lives. We fill up our calendars. We feel like we can't say no. We buy into that hustle culture. And Jesus offers us such a gift in saying that he has come to give us rest. Now, in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 of the NIV, Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." The NLT version reads this way. Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." All of this is good for our mind, our body, and our spirit, but we must ensure that we take the time to rest, put those boundaries in place, and do the things that are right for our family and ourselves, as well as our businesses. Now, let's talk about changes, because we've got some big changes happening here, y'all. The first thing is, not only do we have a completely new look on our website, but we also have a new name. And I'm so excited about this because this has been in the works for 2 years. Now, 2 years ago, I didn't realize this was in the works, but that's how God is, right? He sends us on these journeys and we have no idea where we're headed or what's it going to look like or anything like that. So back in 2019, I attended Blissdom by my friend Allie Worthington. And I knew it was going to be the last Blissdom, and I was bound and determined to go and be a part of it. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to be doing next. In fact, during the keynote, Allie said she wanted us to focus on what we would be doing a year from now. And I even sat in my chair and I kind of looked up at her and was like, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, much less what I'm doing next year or even further into the future. But I remember at the time, I kept seeing imagery of fire and phoenix and rising from the ashes. And I was getting ready to head into a new season. See, my youngest daughter, Rebecca, graduated from high school in 2020, and I knew in 2019 this was going to be my next chapter. What was that going to look like? What was I going to be doing? Both of my kids were going to be grown, living their own lives, following their own path and their own calling. So what was going to be next for me? I was still going to be a mom, but it was just going to be different, right? So I kept listening and being obedient, and which led me to creating Tammy Munson Creative and really going all in with the podcast work, editing, producing, all the things, right? I kept seeing references of fire and phoenix and just always all around me. I kept hearing God say, hey, you need to tell their stories. And I thought building this business was it. And I truly believe that it is. But then I knew I wanted to take this business to the next level. And so I began to plan, along with my business coach, what was going to be next and wanted to create an agency model. And that's exactly what we've done. And so I hired my friend Jenny Cross and her team over at Two Tone Creative and said, we need a new name for this. And kind of gave them a little bits and pieces of my story. And one of the things that they came up with was Wildfire. Again, fire. So I asked them, they didn't really know the story. And so I asked them, why Wildfire? And they said, well, to us, you're like a little Spitfire. I don't know about all that, but that's what they said. That's Wild. We are now Wildfire Creative Company. Even though we've moved to an agency model, you can still expect the same. We're still going to give you the best product and the best support. And we treat you like you are part of the family, that your podcast is our podcast. I just have a team of people working with me now. And through this podcast, you will get to learn a little bit more about some of the team members and the people that are working in partnership with Wildfire. So I'm so excited about the new name and the new website. And please go ahead and go over to wildfirecreativecompany.com. There's a lot of C's in there. Check it out. Let me know what you think. I'm super excited to see what you think about it. And we've also got some really cool things coming up as well next month. So one of the new things I'm super excited to share with you is a new program that we're going to be starting in October. Now, I'll be talking a lot more about it in September, but I kind of wanted to give you just a little sneak peek of what to expect. Now, I've never had a program before, so this will be the first one that we're doing, and it's called the Quick Launch Accelerator Program. Now, a lot of times I get people wanting to work with me to launch their podcast. And it is a service that we offer. There is so many hours in the day, so many hours in the week. And with this new setting boundaries, I kept going, I can only help so many people. How can I help more people and still have the same number of hours in the week, right? I'm only one person. So what I decided to do is let's do a group program. We're going to do a group launch program. I'm only accepting 5 lucky ladies into the program, and it's really for those who are serious about launching their podcasts. How it's going to work is we're going to work together to get your podcast launched in about 6 weeks. We're going to go through the whole process together, from the planning phase to the production and recording to the editing the publishing, getting set up in Apple and Spotify and all the various podcasting directories, to also promoting it and looking at things past launch. Once a week, we will have a group call where you can come and ask me any question that you want related to launching your podcast, editing your podcast, or whatever content we happen to be talking about that week. Super excited about it. I'll be having lots more information about it. I just kind of wanted to give you a quick heads up to make sure that you stay updated on this. Make sure that you are signed up for our email list. And you just go to wildfirecreativecompany.com and you can find out all about it. Now, what can you expect of this season on the Creative Cast? So we're going to be tackling the usual tips and tricks and updates from around podcast land. Now, we're also going to be having conversations about the business side of podcasting, email marketing, marketing funnels. I'll even include some coaching time, and we're going to have lots more. I guarantee you're going to love it. Plus, I've got some amazing special guests lined up for this season. So in next week's episode, we're just going to jump right in. We're going to get into discussing launching your podcast, but more specifically about what to do after you've launched it. Because launching is the easy part, believe it or not. So thank you for sticking around during this hiatus. Y'all are the absolute best. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I am so glad that you're here because, ladies, I believe in each and every one of you. I've said it from episode 1. Y'all are my heroes because I believe that inexperience, production fatigue, and tech that intimidates or overwhelms you shouldn't prevent you from accomplishing your goals, telling your story, or spreading God's word. So let's walk through this journey together so you can spend less time worrying about all the details and more time spreading your message. I hope that you have a great day, and I will talk to you next Monday. Bye, y'all.